Hello, Treasury Talent community, and I'm joined today by Joe Grabowski, who runs the Treasury Talent US business. And we wanted to have a quick chat to you today about what's going on in the market. Pretty high level, what we wanted to chat through really was the volumes in the market have definitely picked up versus a year ago. Movement is happening, so those jobs are real now, which was probably not the case about a year ago. They're still taking quite a long time to fill, 6 months or more, which is interesting. But flexibility and work from home is now the key. And really just look at, is the great resignation coming to Treasury in the same way as we're reading about? So Joe, talk us through. Volumes seem to be up. What's happening in the market?
Yeah, absolutely, Simon, and thanks for having me. Thanks for the question. Really, to your point, we are seeing jobs. We monitor 50 markets across the US at least, and the difference between last year and this year, we started to see the volumes pick up probably about July of last year. But the difference between last year and this year is that the demand seems real, to your point. Like you look at your LinkedIn profile, you looked at your coworkers or people that you've worked with in your network who have changed jobs. It seems like it's much more frequent now than it was this time last year, which is creating additional openings on the back end as people are leaving for new opportunities. So we've certainly seen the demand pick up. It seems real. We are seeing movement, and it's been welcome to see, I guess you could say, after the last 18 months.
Timeframes fills, particularly junior fills at the analyst and manager level, are still pretty long by the looks of it, like more than 6 months.
Absolutely. The one thing that we've seen since we've continued to monitor all these different markets is your analysts and your managers make up about 67% of your posted jobs or advertised jobs at any given time. Very competitive for companies who are looking to hire at those levels. Really, the key there is not only do you have to have the right technical fit, but you're talking to a younger generation. They require more flexibility. They're looking for more growth opportunities. And if you're coming to them, not talking to them about not only this next step for them, but the step after, more often than not, you're missing the mark, or you're missing out on the people that you're looking for.
And I think the key in that as well, Joe, is that you've got to listen to the market, don't you? It's one thing to want something, but if the market doesn't have that, you need to change what you're looking for to get something that is available, as opposed to keep hunting for something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and it's a pain point, and we talk about this quite a bit, where maybe it's not a pain point necessarily for you if you're sitting in the treasurer or the assistant treasurer's seat. Maybe you're picking up some responsibilities for those lower levels as these jobs aren't filled, but it's the rest of your team that you're putting at risk. And if they're overworked and all those responsibilities from that empty seat are falling on them, chances are they're looking around for opportunities too, because everyone's gone through this pandemic the same way. It's been a mental drain on everyone. I'm painting with a broad brush here, but you have that. It's been tumultuous from a financial standpoint. So you already have all those stresses that are pushing and pulling your employees, but then to have an open seat sitting out there that much longer, you're really, really testing the outer boundaries of, I guess, what people will put up with. So it's, if you have an open job, my recommendation is to adjust to the market, understand what the market's telling you, try to figure out why you're missing out on your top candidates if you are. If you're not identifying top candidates, that's a different set of challenges altogether. But if you do find yourself missing out on your first or even your second, maybe even your third choice, you need to understand why, and you need to adapt accordingly. And you probably need to do it pretty quickly, or you're going to risk further attrition.
Now, obviously, flexible work from home are things that have proven over the last 18 months to 2 years to have worked during the pandemic. What are you seeing in the market around work from home and flexibility, Joe, and what are the expectations of candidates?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll start with the employer we'll start with the corporate side, right? So for the most part, I am encouraged by the conversations that I'm having with treasurers, assistant treasurers, and directors who are looking to hire. It does seem like they're being rational around, hey, we've worked remote or in a hybrid environment for the last 18 months. We figured out how to do it. I don't need to see someone 5 days a week. On the flip side, those that are requiring 5 days in the office or do not have that flexibility there's usually a correlation with that job staying open a little bit longer, and that ties into the motivations of the community or practitioners overall. We did put out an informal poll over LinkedIn, and then just in conversations that I have with practitioners day in, day out, just asking for preferences around, would you rather work 100% remote? Would you rather work in a hybrid role? Would you be open to even changing a job if it required 100% in office? Astoundingly, only 2% of respondents, and this follows the flow of conversations, only 2% of people would actually change a job or leave their current job to move to 100% Monday through Friday in-office role. You're looking at about 22% who had remote as the primary ask, or 58% was most predominant with the hybrid model. So maybe it's 2 days in office, 3 days out, or vice versa. But having that flexibility is key. And like I said, there's that correlation between those jobs that are staying open longer, where people are struggling to find the practitioner that they're looking for, and their work circumstance, I guess you can say, what they're requiring their team to be in terms of being in office or having that flexibility.
And Joe, there's a lot of talk at the moment about the Great Resignation. People are looking at what they're doing in their jobs and what's happening in their lives, and changing their preferences and thinking about other things. Is the Great Resignation coming to Treasury?
Yeah, it's. I think the easy answer here would be the doom and gloom prediction of yes, right? Treasury practitioners, from what I've learned, are certainly resilient. You guys are used to. I kind of always say you're the people running toward the fire opposed to away. So for as tumultuous as this time has been, yes, we are seeing the turnover. I've had no shortage of conversations with practitioners who are now looking for opportunities. I think what you'll see is not only have you had the stresses of the pandemic, and maybe if you're forcing your team to go back in office, yes, that would cause a practitioner to look. You're also right around the corner from end of year and looking at year-end bonuses. And if your company wasn't doing well financially, on top of having your team be 100% in office, on top of not knowing your team and what their preferences are for their work situation, there's a good chance that you're going to be blindsided, or maybe you're expecting resignations after the first of the year, if not before then.
Joe, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for giving us this snapshot. I hope everyone got some value, and thanks very much, Treasury Talent community, for listening.
Thanks a lot, Simon, as always.